The Shill Media Science is celebrating Agatha All Along's ratings, so it's celebration time for those who still love Marvel, right? Not so fast. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. We're 3 weeks into Marvel's latest television offering on Disney+, Agatha All Along, a show so mundane and vapid that I couldn't even review the 3rd episode properly because there was nothing to talk about that would fill at least 8 minutes. This is a show written by a 45-year-old wine-soaked cat lady for other 45-year-old wine-soaked cat ladies. Though, the last time I looked at Marvel's core demographic, I don't remember 45-year-old wine-soaked cat ladies being a large piece of that pie chart. But apparently that doesn't matter, because if you listen to the usual suspects in the mainstream media, you'd think this show was the second coming of The Sopranos. It reportedly garnered over 9 million views in its first week, and Disney is breaking the Ewoks out of mothballs and lending them to Marvel to have them dance around and sing the Yub Nub song in celebration of this momentous feat. If you believe the mainstream media, then this is the perfect follow-up to Deadpool and Wolverine. More proof that Marvel is back, baby! But if you believe the mainstream media, you're also probably an idiot. As we've pointed out time and time again on this channel, the mainstream entertainment media lies to you constantly. We no longer have objective entertainment reporting from large outlets. They're all bought and paid for in terms of access to content and stars and, very likely, actual financial incentives when it comes to outlets like Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. Big studios, Disney especially, seem to be constantly protected by the media, with crazy spins placed on abysmal failures to make them seem like successes. These spin stories typically center around quote-unquote woke properties, where virtue signaling and identity politics take the place of character development and story. Now, I don't know if this is an intentional media plot to try and push that ideology, or if we just noticed it there because those are the properties that tend to fail the hardest. Either way, there's a definite bias and spin being put out on this show specifically. Just like there was for The Acolyte, just like there was for She-Hulk, just like there is for the Rings of Power, and so on and so forth, all the way back to Ghostbusters 2016, or as I like to call it, The Source. But when it comes to Agatha, when you really stop and look at the numbers and what the media is saying, you start to realize how deceptive they're being. And that's exactly what we're going to do today on Tooney Town TV. All right, boys and girls, here we go from That Park Place, written by WDW Pro himself. Agatha All Along ratings crash below canceled. The Acolyte on Disney+. Media runs with misleading numbers. That sounds pretty damning, and it's pretty true. So, Pro says, Marvel is attempting to find its mojo on streaming after a wonderful win at the box office. Deadpool and Wolverine was a thunderous success with audiences and with profit. But the film, which was largely crafted by outsiders like Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy, is not the template that Marvel has been using for the last many years. Secret Invasion, the Marvels, the Eternals are a better representation of what Marvel has been up to as late. I would also include in that Secret Invasion, Moon Knight, Echo, pretty much everything they've done. Falcon and Winter Soldier. And though there are strong rumors that Kevin Feige is working hard to right the ship, Agatha All Along is another show that fits neatly into what Disney superheroes have been like for the last couple of phases. Boy, it sure does. Does it ever? This show is, exactly. This is MSheU personified. If the MSheU could become an actual show that's just like the MSheU show, it would be this show. I think, what did I say? It was made for 45-year-old wine-soaked cat ladies, and it really is. By the way, how big of a slice of the demographic do you think 45-year-old wine-soaked cat ladies are, guys? It's not that much, but for some reason, that's the only people that we are doing this show for. It's just middle-aged, bored women who are slouching toward menopause, and they drink wine, they talk about essential oils, they talk about upholstery, they get bad facelifts. It's just the worst. It's so vapid and senseless. There's no meat or substance to this. I couldn't even review the 3rd episode on its own. I don't know if there'll even be enough for me to review 3 and 4 together because of how bad they've been. But I'll try. I'll try, since you guys seem to like the last review. 2 episodes might be the way to go about doing it, because then I can actually get a full-length video out of it. Because my goodness, trying to review episode 3 on its own, trying to get enough meat off that bone to fill a minimum of 8 minutes of screen time, which is kind of what, like I said for myself, is like that's the bare minimum I want my videos to be. It was impossible. There's just nothing happens. There's nothing to pontificate about. Pro goes on to say, unfortunately for Disney and Marvel, that also means the results are looking like the failures they've been dealing with since 2020. That's not to say you would easily detect that Agatha All Along is a ratings disaster on Disney Plus. Variety compares Agatha All Along to Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Acolyte. Oh, that's a great thing to be compared to, the Acolyte. One of those received a second season and one was canceled. The outlet noted that the first episode of Agatha All Along hit 9.3 million views on Disney Plus in its first 7 days of streaming. So there it is from Variety. See Catherine Hahn, who I've been told is a very good actress. I have yet to see it in this show, but the myth prevails. In another post, Variety said the opening of Agatha All Along appears to be roughly on par with that of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which debuted with 13.3 million views in 6 days, as well as the Acolyte, the Star Wars series that hit 11.1 million views in 5 days. Can we just take a minute to note that Percy Jackson and the Olympians outdid the Acolyte? I mean, yes, the time period here is a little different with 5 days versus 6 days. It's very possible that that extra 2 million plus could have happened for the Acolyte in the 6th day or whatever. But that would put it on par with Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Percy Jackson and the Olympians is a franchise that should not be neck and neck with Star Wars. That's not saying Percy Jackson did great. It's saying Star Wars did bad. So bad that it was canceled. So then why then is Percy Jackson renewed for a second season and the Acolyte is not? Well, that's because the Acolyte cost a lot more to make. As Jonas J. Campbell reported on That Park Place with a huge exclusive scoop last week, the Acolyte cost in excess of $230 million to make, which is obscene. Now, for the keen observer, it's obvious that Variety and perhaps Disney are using different measurements without clearly denoting the situation. Agatha All Along is measured over 7 days. The Acolyte was measured in 5. Percy Jackson and the Olympians is a completely different case that we'll set aside for now because Percy Jackson opened weekly and then grew its audience significantly. But neither the Acolyte nor Agatha All Along does that seem to be the case. If we divide the viewership measured for the Acolyte by the number of days in which we are given, we discover that the Acolyte averaged 2.22 million views per day in its first 5 days. If we divide the viewership measured for Agatha All Along by the number of days for which we are given, Marvel's new series picked up 1.32 million per day. In other words, per diem, Agatha All Along only nabbed 59.5% of the Acolyte's viewership for the days in which we have been provided. That's disgusting. I mean, even if it costs half of what the Acolyte costs, which, God, I hope so, that's still pretty bad ratings. I mean, nobody's watching this show. Frankly, that's absolutely terrible and puts on full display why it has already been stated that the show will likely not be given a second season. The only thing we wish is that the media would stop obfuscating the real results for media purposes and give the data in a forthright manner. Agatha All Along is doing very poorly, despite what the desired corporate narrative might be. Very well said. Now, we're saying it's not getting a second season. We know that it's not getting a second season. That was confirmed by Catherine Hahn and Patti LuPone. And I don't think it was ever intended to have a second season. I think that the purpose of this show is to get, who's it's over here, totally not Wiccan, to get him into the Marvel Universe, set up for Young Avengers. It's to get Wanda's boys back into this universe and set up for that movie or TV show or whatever Young Avengers is going to be that's supposedly coming in the future. I don't think we see Agatha again. I especially don't think we see Agatha's merry band of menopause that's following her around. We might see Aubrey Plaza again, because if what I'm hearing is correct, her character is actually a pretty big deal in the Marvel Universe. But we will get to that in another video, probably tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. We're going to talk more about Teen and Aubrey Plaza's character, April Ludgate. I'm sorry, I mean Rio Vidal. She's just, Aubrey Plaza just plays Aubrey Plaza and everything, which is not a terrible thing to be, guys, because I actually like Aubrey Plaza and I like the character that she plays and everything. So I'm not complaining about that. It's just she's too good for this show. But yeah, I mean, man, that is a bad number. And the problem is also just how much the media is clouding your view of this. They just throw up the number 9.3 million alongside, an 11 million people. and they hope that you don't pay too much attention or look too far into it. That's what channels like this are for. That's what channels like Pro's channel are for. That's what that Park Place is for. These are platforms in which you can actually get someone to dig down deep into what the mainstream media is trying to say. Now, before we had platforms, before YouTube was a thing, they could get away with saying whatever the heck they want. People could scream to the rooftops, but unless they had a platform, they couldn't actually get it out. That's why platforms like YouTube are so valuable to the ongoing success of trying to hold the mainstream media and Hollywood accountable for its actions. I guess you can also say that it holds the government and the regular media responsible for its actions as well, but that's not the purpose of this channel, so we won't go into that. But my goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, is this show in trouble? 3 episodes down, and we have got just horrific ratings. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. And I'm sure it's falling off week by week because that's just kind of the way this rolls. Saw that with The Acolyte. I can't wait to see when the Nielsen ratings come out what it's going to be doing. Now, if we look over here, Samba TV has put out its top 10 streaming shows for the week. And boy, there's something missing here, isn't it? Let's take a closer look. We got The Penguin at number 1. That's no surprise. Monsters, The Perfect Couple, Uglies, Tulsa King, Rebel Ridge, Emmy in Paris, The Rings of Power season 2. That's actually kind of surprising that it even made it to number 8. By the way, that show's getting into its finale. That should be way further up there. Into the Fire, Only Murders in the Building, but there's no Agatha. And this is for the weeks of September 16th to September 22nd. So Agatha was out at that time. It did not crack the top 10, guys. That's big. That's huge. That's something everyone should be talking about. And if you look over here, HBO Max, Netflix, Paramount, Netflix, Prime, Netflix, Hulu. Hulu is the only thing Disney's got on this list. That's Only Murders in the Building season 4. Disney Plus is not even in the top 10 streaming programs for the week of September 16th to September 22nd. That's abysmal. That is a failure. That is a failure in every conceivable way, guys. So now I hope you're able to see that what the media is telling you and the story and the angle that they're trying to push about this is so incredibly deceptive and insulting to even a moderately intelligent person. And by looking just a little deeper below the surface, you guys will see that you're being lied to. And I hope it encourages everyone to look a little further into things, not just here in entertainment, but everywhere. Don't take the things that people tell you at face value. Always do your own research, guys, because a lot of times in this world, somebody is lying to you. So what do you guys think? Have you seen the Agatha All Along? Are you watching it? Are you surprised that it's not in the Samba TV top 10? Sound off in the comments and let me know. Agatha All Along is failing, just like every Marvel show before it. Marvel just can't seem to crack the formula when it comes to streaming television, but I think it's a little bit more than that. The characters they're giving us on streaming either aren't characters people want to see, like Agatha Harkness, Moon Knight, Echo, etc., or, in a lot of cases, they're giving us characters we like, but they're putting them in scenarios and stories that make us dislike them, such as the Scarlet Witch, Vision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Nick Fury, and most importantly, Loki. But the media is firmly in Disney's pocket here, and it's going to do everything in its power, which is considerable still, to make sure that public perception remains that Marvel, and by extension Disney, is a success. And they'll do this by giving misleading information and narratives like what we saw here, but also by attacking and blaming the fans for not liking and supporting the property. Now, that second part has already started with Agatha. They're already accusing fans on IMDb of review bombing the show because of a slew of 1-star reviews.
This is a lie.
Of course, that has to be review bombing, because it couldn't possibly be that people watched the show and just didn't like it, right? Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for being a special part of the Tooney Town community. Huge thanks goes out to our channel members who get early access to videos and exclusive content like Kevin Apollo's Rants, a special members live stream on Friday afternoons, Marvin's Theme Park Rundown, and some new reaction videos we're going to be rolling out in the near future. I also hope you'll all join us for Tooney Talk TV, our live stream pop culture podcast, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. EST. It's a great chance to interact with me directly and to make your voice heard as a part of the Tooney Town community. If you liked what you saw here today, please like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at the Tooney Town channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!